Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and still with our coverage of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's current visit to Brussels and to know more about Egypt's preparations to host the COP27 here in Egypt. We're honored to be to host here at the studio live with us Miss Gaballah, Deputy Country Director at Save the Children International Egypt Office. Thank you very much for joining us, Miss Gaballah.
You're more than welcome.
Well, I would like to start by the fact that you said at the World Youth Forum that children and youth should participate in COP27, the upcoming conference that will be take place here in Egypt. Would you tell us how do you expect children to participate at the conference?
Well, I guess the fact that this ask was endorsed by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi during the World Youth Forum, and it was presented to the world as one of the recommendations of the forum. That for us is considered the first step towards ensuring that the COP27 will create a safe and conducive environment for children and a platform for children and youth to share their voices and their concerns that has to do with the climate change crisis.
Yes.
I think when it comes to how we will make this reality, how we will make this happen, it will be a collaboration between different entities, government entities, civil society, UN agencies. We need everybody to come together to ensure that this platform will be created for youth to voice out their concerns. There are so many initiatives that is taking place as we speak now. We as Save the Children are launching our global campaign towards these specific ends, and we will be gearing our programs and our projects towards ensuring that we have that youth and children will have representatives to attend COP27 and to share with the world their concerns about the impacts of climate change on their future and on their well-being.
How, from your point of view, do you think that youth participation will be part of the success of COP27?
Actually, it's evident from the global experience when it comes to the previous COPs that youth participation has significantly impacted the decisions and the recommendations of the previous COPs. One example that I can share with you here is the movement Fridays for Future, which was launched in 2018 by a 15-year-old girl. And all the efforts that came under this movement went viral on social media, and the asks that was put forward to the global leaders through this movement was actually addressed in the previous COPs. So we expect that the COP27 that will be held in Egypt, we as civil society, as government partners, we would like to provide the Egyptian youth and the Egyptian children and adolescents the same experience where they can actually share their views about this very important issue.
Yes, it's very important to raise the awareness of children.
Absolutely.
Also about the importance of climate change and how to fight climate change. Now, how can this be achieved?
From our point of view, we think that children, creating spaces for children to participate and to express their views is very, very important. That can be a starting point. So the awareness raising starts with creating that space, sharing with children and youth all the global knowledge about the crisis, how this crisis is actually would impact their socio-economic conditions here in Egypt.
Yes.
And then give them and empower them actually to take to lead on community-based initiatives.
Yes.
That can give the COP27, the global leaders, the government, all the stakeholders, innovative solutions for climate change. So the whole thing, as you mentioned, it will start with awareness raising, but also creating the space for youth groups and children groups to come together to present their views and their solutions for climate change.
Right. Well, how do you view the ongoing preparations taking place starting from now and maybe earlier also to host COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh? And why was Sharm el-Sheikh specifically selected for this event?
Actually, we are all aware that the preparation has started once the declaration was made in COP26 that Egypt and Sharm el-Sheikh specifically will host COP27. And we, as the attendees and the participants of the World Youth Forum that took place a few months ago, we witnessed the capacities and the facilities that Sharm el-Sheikh can offer for such a global event. Also, we are all aware that the Minister of Environment has just declared Sharm el-Sheikh as an eco-friendly city, as a green city. So there are lots of efforts that is being exerted to actually turn the city into a green city.
What are those efforts that started in Sharm el-Sheikh? We've been hearing a lot about even transferring cars to electric cars, or would you tell us more about those preparations?
The preparations, as you said, it starts with trying to look into the means of transportation and try to see how they can transfer the energy sources from to a green energy sources. There are also efforts from the perspective of tourism and try to promote environmental tourism and add this aspect to the already existing touristic destination. There is also efforts to ensure that there are mechanisms in place to for waste management, and recycling of waste across the city, across different establishments in the city. There are so many efforts, and obviously awareness raising within the community at Sharm el-Sheikh to ensure that the city is ready to host such a very high level and a global event in November 2022.
Right. Well, as a deputy country director at Save the Children, would you please tell us more about Save the Children and its role in development?
Well, Save the Children has been working in Egypt since 1982. Yes. Globally, Save the Children was established in 1990, which was with it was the organization that has established actually the CRC, the Child Rights Convention globally. In Egypt, since the 80s, we have been working in different sectors like education, child protection, health, livelihoods, mental health and psychosocial support. These different sectors, we have been partnering with government, with civil society organizations, with UN agencies to ensure that children, their families and their communities have access to high quality services, be it in education, services in education, or services that has to do with the health systems in Egypt. We have been also trying to address the needs of the most vulnerable groups. So we have been working with communities in rural areas. We have been working with communities of refugees and migrants in urban areas here in Cairo and Alexandria. They have been working with supporting systems like alternative care systems in collaboration with Ministry of Social Solidarity, supporting Ministry of Education in rolling out its strategies in terms of education reform, digitalization of education. And there are so many examples, working with Ministry of Health in ensuring that health services at the primary, secondary and tertiary level are adequate to the needs of the Egyptian community.
How far does the presidential initiatives taking place here in Egypt, how far is it boosting your institution's role? How far is it helping you out?
It is actually helping us out to a great extent. I have to say, we are also aligning our programs to support the ends and the main outcomes of intended outcomes of these presidential initiatives. I can give you various examples. Like
Yes.
one example is Haya Karima, for example.
Yes.
We are working very closely with our partners to ensure that we, in collaboration with the government, can deliver on the main commitments of Haya Karima, be it improving access to early childhood development services, be it working with children with special needs, with disabilities, be it working, we are also working very closely with the ministry on graduation program of the women and all beneficiaries, actually women and youth who has been benefiting from Takaful and Karama program, and graduating them from the reliance on the direct assistance that has been provided by the ministry.
Yes.
Through Takaful Karama into a Forza program, whereas they can have more self-reliance, to support themselves through creating production units across within their communities. We have been also working very closely with all the initiatives that has been launched so far to promote climate change as one of the main issues on the government agenda. There are so many examples, but we as Save the Children, we really try to make sure that our strategic planning is informed by the needs and the priorities that has been set by the government, because that's exactly how we ensure that there is a real partnership, there is a buy-in from our partners to ensure that we can deliver on children's rights.
Yes. Well, now Egypt is moving very fast towards digital transformation.
True.
How far do you think this is now a necessity for all institutions in improving its efficiency nowadays?
I think it has been evident that this is a real necessity. I mean, just to take COVID as a global pandemic and how it impacted our ways of working and pushed us all to use technology more and more in different areas. It is definitely a strategic direction that organizations like Save the Children, civil society, the government is committed to, and we can see that there is a clear vision from the government side to deliver on this necessity. But however, and there is also consensus that there are several requirements for digital transformation to take place. We need to work together in improving infrastructure. We need to work together to improve the access to internet, especially for the most marginalized communities. We need to make sure that systems and ways of working in different entities and different institutions are transferred to be more digitally managed, and the human resources that is basically using using these systems have the capacity. The capacities needs to be built towards digital solutions, and finally the consensus around different entities that we as decision makers in our own institutions, in order, as you said, to reach more efficiencies and effectiveness, our decisions needs to be based on data and information, and the only way to do so is to ensure that our systems are and our programs are going through digital transformation that would produce that kind of level of information and data.
Right. Well, I would like to thank you very much, Ms. Mai Gaballah, Deputy Country Director at Save the Children. Many thanks for joining us and many thanks for your insight.
Thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this edition of Cairo Local Time. Many thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the top stories that will be coming up in a moment.